Hey, what's going on, guys? Hex Competitive back again today with a brand new video, and as always, down in the title below, the topic we're talking about today, and this topic comes from Travis Showalter, and this is one of the best what ifs ever. I really love it. I really do love this fairy tale what if, and that is what if Erza would have died at the Tower of Heaven. So this is something that carries an immense amount of weight to it. The emotional impact would have been crazy. I mean, because I think we can all agree that Erza's probably the voice of our main cast of Lucy, Gray, Natsu, Wendy. She is the voice for this main cast, right? And I know a lot of people are like, well, what about Natsu? Natsu is obviously the main character. Well, Natsu's more or less really just the symbol of the main cast, right? He's the one that's gonna be there fighting the main boss. He's the one that they're really gonna look to whenever it's crunch time. But Erza is that one that leads them, per se. Erza is the king. Natsu is the general that's on the front lines, that's getting that bright spot, right? So given Erza does too, but you guys probably understand what I'm trying to say here. And well, just think what it would have done to Natsu. Not only did he let Erza cry, and you see what happened whenever he let Erza cry, he went crazy, and he let her die. Just think what that would have done to Natsu as a character. Just think about it. I mean, I could only imagine how protective he would have been over Lucy and Wendy and anyone who's in his party. I mean, we understand him and Gray have that brotherly bond, and they tell each other all the time, you better come back alive and stuff like that. But the emotional impact, Natsu would have been devastated. He would have been broken to pieces. He would have felt as if he let Erza down. He wasn't strong enough. It was his fault Erza died because he couldn't stop Jalal, and he couldn't stop the Tower of Heaven from exploding. I mean, that would have been on him. He would have took that personal. One, who else could he have blamed? No one else was there at the Tower of Heaven. He couldn't have blamed Gray. He couldn't have blamed Lucy. And if someone said, no, it's all our faults, he would be like, no, I was the one that was there. I was the only one that could have done something, and I was the only one that did nothing. I failed. I didn't do what I set out to do, and that just would have been so impactful. And let's talk about the other cast. I mean, Lucy and Erza were really just getting to know each other. I don't know how much. I mean, it would have been impactful, but I don't know how much impact it would have put on her per se. I'm just not sure. I can't really say. Gray, there's another one that would have been very highly impacted. I mean, that could have literally torn Gray and Natsu apart. I mean, because maybe Gray would have blamed Natsu. It's just so hard to say, because I mean, we know what Gray's been through in his past. We've seen that. I mean, so he could have very easily have blamed Natsu and fell into his own pit of despair even further. But you also gotta think, who would have been the one to fight Azuma at Tenor Island? Who would have been the one to fight him and save Fairy Tail? Would Fairy Tail even have been saved? I mean, there's so many things that could have happened there. But I mean, when it really comes down to it, you could really be talking about the end of the main cast splitting up. You could have very well seen these people go their separate ways. Yes, stay in Fairy Tail, but maybe do solo missions more often. Maybe join a different team. Because, I mean, when you think about it, they'll be like, wow, me, Gray, Lucy are together, and Wendy, or whatever, who are we missing? I mean, you could very well have seen a team of, like, Natsu, Lucy, and Wendy. You could have seen Gray go back on his solo route. Because if they're together, everyone like, wow, where's Erza? Wow, I miss Erza. Man. And at the same time, I think the group would have been split. I think Lucy and Natsu would have stayed together and Wendy would have joined, but I think Gray would have went his separate route, because I mean, Gray's used to that. He's okay with that. He's fine with that. And I mean, there's just so many things that could happen, right? I mean, that's crazy, man. That's just crazy to think about. Just everything that would have changed. But as always, guys, you've been hexed. I hope you do leave a comment down below. You leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.